Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing another vehicle review. This time it's on the BTR-152A. This is one of the newest AA vehicles added in the recent patch 1.71 for the Soviet Union. A battle rating of 3.0, rank 2 I think? Yeah, rank 2. Okay, so a little bit of history on this thing. It is actually, as you can see from the seats in the back, an armoured personnel carrier. Or at least that's what it was designed to be. It's just that this one was modified to fit two 14.5mm heavy machine guns onto the roof to defend against aircraft. So, let's have a look at the modifications first. The only really true upgrades that you'll get for this thing is the belts for the guns, as you can imagine, artillery support, because it is an AA vehicle, all of this stuff, you know. I haven't been doing particularly well in this thing, but because of its low battle rating and low rank, it's fairly easy to unlock most of this stuff, I'd say in 2 or 3 matches if you're any good. I'm terrible at SPAA, so. The first belt you get, rather than being just a, quote, default, end quote, belt, is actually a universal belt. Armor piercing incendiary rounds, armor piercing incendiary tracers, and immediate action incendiary. All 3 of those rounds including an incendiary shell, which is why I still use universal belts even after having unlocked the high explosive incendiary tracer. I just find that this works best for me because I tend to spray and pray a lot. Chances of hitting a target for me are quite low, so I try to maximize the chances of setting the target on fire should I get a direct hit. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's look at the stat card. According to the stat card for this vehicle, the turret rotation speed is 33.3 degrees per second. This is pretty fast, you can't deny that. 5 degrees of gun depression, although realistically I would say that you just can't aim the guns over the side of the hull very far, probably to about there if you're lucky. As a general rule, don't count on being able to shoot at something that's right beside you. Fire rate for the guns is 600 rounds per minute. This is reasonably fast, but not stupidly fast like, say, the ZSU-23 or even the ZSU-57's got a slower fire rate, but these guns are not about the damage in one shot, it's more about the consistent damage from hitting a target repeatedly. Which is probably why I don't get on so well with this thing. 9.2 second reload rate on my current crew skill, which you can see at the top of the stat card there. Right, the armour. This is where things get a bit bad. 13mm on the front of the hull, 10 on the side, 8 on the rear. No armour whatsoever on the gun turret, as you can see, because it's just completely open. And the penetration for the standard belts is 26mm at 100 meters, 19mm at 500 meters, and 16mm at 1000 meters. This thing only weighs 8.6 tons, but it only has a 97 horsepower engine. So it says the max speed is 83 kilometers an hour. I have never ever gone that fast, ever. That stat card right there is lying to you. This is usually the case for aircraft. The stat cards can be a bit off, but for ground forces, they give you a good indication of the vehicle's capabilities. In this case, though, that's not true. The most I got out of this thing on dirt or snow was probably about 25 kilometers an hour, and that was on the flat. On tarmac, 35, maybe 40 if you're lucky, and that's if you can keep going in a straight line. 10 degrees maximum inclination. Being a wheeled vehicle, this thing has exactly the same problems as the Pumas have. If you try and go up even a slight incline, the engine just loses power completely and you'll just roll back down the hill. If the engine had, I don't know, 50 more horsepower, this probably wouldn't be a problem, but there's so little torque in the engine that it just won't pull up of steep inclines. The maximum repair cost is 782 lions. Very, very cheap, as you would imagine. And the research reward is down there, although as it's not a premium vehicle, it's not really very relevant. So, let's have a better look at the armour, shall we? Get rid of that for a minute, we've already gone through that. Thank you. Right then. This has gaps in the middle of it, so that's not particularly helpful. Basically, machine guns can kill this thing. 50 caliber machine guns can go straight through this without an issue. The bonnet is 6mm thick, not that anything's going to be hitting you there anyway, unless they get a really easy shot, but then it will just go straight through the engine block, straight through the entire hull. 13mm on the front to protect the driver and the guy sat next to him. Not helpful, really. This sort of armour was only designed to protect against small arms fire. SPAA, especially ones like this that aren't actually case made and it's just an APC with a gun mounted on the top, were not supposed to be anywhere near the front line. Definitely not in frontline combat. 10mm on the side, 10mm there, doors are 10mm. The armour is segmented, which I quite like, but it doesn't really make much of a difference. 6mm on the lower hull, 6mm there. The wheels are 2mm thick, but yeah. 2mm on the rear wheel, 8mm there. Completely open topped. 7mm of steel for the guns. Gun breech, 10mm thick. Yeah, the armour on this thing is appalling. So let's look at the layout. Being a 6-wheel drive vehicle, you have a transfer box in the middle here, which connects to the 2 axles at the rear, driving the independent wheels. We have the loader. We have 2 loaders. The gunner. The commander is sat in the front, and the driver is sat next to him. 97 horsepower engine in the front with the radiator at the basically it's laid out much like a 4-wheel drive car, as you would imagine. There's nothing unusual about this really. Fuel tanks are behind, one behind the commander, one behind the driver, and the ammo boxes are either side of the gunner. If you hit this thing, I've actually experienced shells, for example, hitting me at this sort of angle, going straight through the armour, and because it's only 10mm thick or so, there isn't enough armour to detonate the shell, so it just passes straight through and doesn't hit anything. But as always, people say you shouldn't count on armour. Don't count on small amounts of armour not, you know, letting shells just pass straight through, because that isn't always the case. I apologise for the noises outside, by the way, if you can hear anything. There's building works going on outside my front door. So yeah, that about covers it really for this thing. The first clip you're going to see is going to be live footage with me and Scooter. The others will be post-comms. So I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you very much for watching. And if you'd like to see any more, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like or a dislike, because that button's right next to it, and that's perfectly fine as well. Share it around as much as you like. I really do appreciate all the support that I get from my small but loyal subscriber base. I really enjoy making these videos, and I'm going to continue to do so as long as I'm able. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. It's fine. I can get my target practice in with my BTR.
Whoa, I killed 2 of them, but I'm burning. A 110.
You make me feel invincible.
I think I overthink things in life too much.
You think?
I just overthink everything. I need to stop it. It's a bad habit. Die, you bitch. Find my language, people. I'm angry at this guy.
Fuck.
Ow, 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 ow. Oh. Fuck me. Holy shit.
You okay over there?
No, my farm truck got blown up and rolled like 30 feet.
Well, I think Scooter just had
into our spawn.
I think Scooter just had a bit of a midlife crisis, that's all. Oh, fucking hell.
More than a midlife crisis.
Come on, Gunner, wake up, please. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Target-rich environment, baby. I can't be wasting this opportunity. Come on, wake up. Thank you. Come on, come on,
I'm
come on.
dealing
Get the
with
gun
the
up, get the gun up, get the
spawn.
gun up, get the gun up. Good, because I'm helping defend it from aircraft at the moment.
It's really not
Get out of
looking
there.
good, man. We're a bit flipped.
Oh, shit. Hello everybody and welcome to the first post-comms clip. I apologise for all the swearing and what have you in the first clip, by the way, but, you know, what happens on the internet tends to stay on the internet, so regardless. If you're expecting me to demonstrate getting a lot of kills in this ground vehicle, in this SPAA, you may be on the wrong channel. Of course, feel free to stay if you just want to watch me fail horribly. That's perfectly fine as well. What makes you laugh will probably make me laugh too. The only issue is, I don't play a lot of SPAA. The only SPAA that I've ever done particularly well in is the new Type 65, the reward vehicle, which I used for some video footage a while ago regarding the SPAA spam. In that video I managed to shoot down an ME-262, which is quite an impressive feat for me. But that vehicle differs from this one because it's based on the hull of a T-34-85, so it has some armour. The guns are 57mm guns, or 37mm. I think they're 37mm. And they do cause a serious amount of damage if they hit the enemy target. So you might only, I mean, they both fire at the same time. So if the two shells hit an aircraft and explode, chances are the aircraft is dead, period. Whether it's a 4-engined heavy bomber, a 2-engined heavy fighter, or a 1-engine fighter, it's most likely going to be blown to shrapnel. Because these are only 14.5mm machine guns though, that's not necessarily the case. And goodbye J1N1. Of course, these guns don't actually appear on the tops of tanks as an anti-aircraft armament until Tier 5, with the T-10, and what was the other one? There's another vehicle that gets on. What's it? The SU-54, something like that. You know, the one with the T-54 hull with the 122mm gun. SU-54 122, that's the one. That one gets a 14.5mm machine gun as well. Those two tanks are the only ones in the game that, as far as I'm aware, that actually have these 14.5mm machine guns mounted on the turrets. The other Russian tank that has a machine gun on the top is a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, the 50 caliber machine gun. Don't get me wrong, in real life I imagine trained gunners could do reasonably well with these guns, but not me. Especially not when I get flanked and shot in the ass by a tank that I never realised was there. Okay, next clip. I'm afraid most of the clips are going to end the same way. I may get 1 or 2 kills, and then I get killed. Usually because by the time I spawn in this thing, our team is either winning and has pushed so far ahead that they're nearly in the enemy spawn, meaning there's nothing for me to shoot at, or they're losing so poorly that I had to take this spawn rather than get a crew lock, and as a result I sit in my spawn shooting at enemy aircraft like you saw in the first clip, only to get killed and then our team to lose horribly. I accept my responsibility for that. At the end of the day, as being part of the team, you can't complain about the team without acknowledging your own shitty behaviour at the same time. You can always do better. Even if your team does really bad, you could have done more to help. So as I said, this thing is not particularly mobile, it's not particularly fast, despite what the stat card tells you. Don't ever believe the stat card in War Thunder, it's usually chatting out of its ass. Always test drive the vehicle beforehand. I was quite lucky that guy didn't kill me then. His guns were more than capable of penetrating me, or at least his 20mm would have been. Yeah, don't ever assume that the stat card is correct, especially with aircraft, because it usually isn't. Naturally, this thing isn't fully upgraded yet. It may get more mobile with upgrades to the engine, but I can't see that happening anytime soon. It is one of the better AA that the Russians have, though. A lot of people don't like slow firing guns because they like to be able to get as many shots in the air as possible, and this thing does benefit them in that regard. Anyway, It's worth researching. It's not a premium. I'm not here to tell you whether to spend your money or not. So, if you're going to go down the AA line, you're going to end up getting it anyway. It is decent. It's not awful. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you all on the next one. Please subscribe if you want to. It really does help out the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.